Are you ready for another exciting adventure, people? Prepare yourself because the Chocolate Factory is reopening its doors again. Tim Burton shot one of his most famous films, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, in 2005. The film is based on Roald Dahl's fairy tale novel of the same name, which has been adapted for the big screen twice. So which was better, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory 2005 or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory 1971? The 1971 version starring Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka is now considered a classic, but Tim Burton's 2005 film also provided an intriguing viewpoint of that world, and here's how it compares to the first. Roald Dahl devised the good and bad children's characters into poles in his story, but Willy Wonka ended up being rather ambiguous, and Tim Burton and Johnny Depp elegantly conveyed this ambiguity. However, we see Willy as a traumatized child who was subjected to his father's excessive severity as a child and, as a result, made the production of sweets that he despised his life's work. Willy, on the other hand, cannot be described as unhappy or kind-hearted. He's content with his life, he has built a chocolate empire and even an incredible chocolate world inside his factory. He's self-assured and takes criticism very personally. One day, Willy Wonka makes the announcement that he has hidden golden tickets in 5 of his chocolate bars, with the winner receiving a tour of the factory and a lifetime supply of Wonka goods. Wonka mania sweeps the globe, and 4 of the tickets are discovered one by one. Charlie purchases 2 Wonka chocolate bars with the money he finds poking out of a snowbank. One of the bars holds the final golden ticket. Outside the factory, the eccentric visionary Willy Wonka met the children and led them into the most magical place on Earth. Wonka rescued the tiny, cacao-loving Oompa Loompas from Loompa Land to work in the factory. And I'll stop there because let's face it, it's better to watch the film again before Willy Wonka hits the theaters. The musical movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which was directed by Mel Stewart and starred Gene Wilder as the eccentric candy manufacturer Willy Wonka, was released in 1971. Wilder's performance was widely praised, and the movie was well received by critics and is now regarded as a classic. In 2005, a new version was released, this time directed by Tim Burton and starring Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka. Although it's more of an adaptation of the book than a remake, viewers couldn't help but contrast the two films, particularly Wilder and Depp's performances. Although both films have their strengths and are entertaining in their own ways, there are many differences between them. Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was a critical and commercial success. The eagerly anticipated Wonka appears to be one of the cards in Warner Bros. Release date shuffle at the moment. The Flash and Aquaman and The Lost Kingdom were both delayed because of COVID, which was a common occurrence in the previous few years. The reason for Wonka's delay hasn't yet been revealed, but the new release date will give the film a prominent place. And yes, the film now has a new release date. It was originally scheduled for March 17, 2023, but it'll now hit theaters on December 15, 2023. The movie, which is planned to be a musical fantasy, appears to be exactly the kind of family-friendly movie with enough cultural cash in the film's source material to make for a significant box office success during the holiday season. Who could play the young Willy Wonka in Warner Bros.' upcoming Wonka prequel movie? Along with the official Wonka announcement, Timothée Chalamet and Tom Holland's names were also mentioned as being under consideration. It's perhaps easier to imagine Chalamet in his famous purple top hat, conjuring up his next strange confection invention. A key element in portraying Wonka's dark troublemaker moments is Chalamet's roguish intensity, which has already earned him nominations for a slew of major acting awards during his brief acting career thus far. He'll portray a younger Willy Wonka in contrast to the roles previously held by Johnny Depp and Gene Wilder. In addition to Timothée Chalamet, the cast includes Keegan-Michael Key, Sally Hawkins, Raki Takrar, Olivia Colman, and comedy legend Rowan Atkinson. Before we go any further, we wanted to let you know that it's time for you to smash that like button if you haven't done it already. Although it's unknown what roles any of these actors will be playing just yet, it's intriguing to consider how they'll all interact on screen. They all have extensive backgrounds in comedic roles, which may provide a clue as to the tone of Wonka. Given that it's a prequel, Wonka will take place before the famous tale shown in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Given that Chalamet was only 25 when the movie was being made, as opposed to Wilder's 38 years of age and Depp's 42 years of age, this Willy Wonka will be a much younger version. The plot will probably explain how Wonka developed his love of all things sweet, and evolved into the renowned solitary chocolatier from Dahl's book. By confirming that Wonka will not be a dark origin story, the cast has already dispelled theories about Willy Wonka's morbid past. The fact that Wonka will be a musical, however, ensures that there will be catchy songs and impressive dance routines to accompany whatever the specific plot may be. The first photo shows the eccentric Candyman in a different light than what most people are probably used to seeing. Even though the colors are muted compared to the Johnny Depp version, his attire is strikingly similar to Willy Wonka's signature outfit. His half-smile also lacks the same charming whimsy that Depp or particularly Gene Wilder managed to convey. Once again, one picture is not compelling proof of the type of film Wonka will be, and it could very well be a silly and uplifting story. A fan theory holds that Willy Wonka is a child serial killer due to his solitary and peculiar personality. The theory is predicted on the idea that Wonka purposefully selected his victims for the tour and enticed them with a weakness he knew they would give into, resulting in their deaths. The 4 children who die in the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory film are not sympathetic characters. They're the opposite of Charlie's good nature, so Wonka might think that killing them is a way to get rid of greedy people in society. Willy Wonka's casual, unfazed responses to the life or death circumstances of the antagonistic children are another indication of his serial killer nature. It appears that their demise was predetermined because Wonka showed no concern for their well-being. One might question why Charlie, a kind and poor boy, who was also selected if Wonka had purposefully brought in the other spoiled and greedy kids to kill them. Wonka may have planned for Charlie to die in order to see if poor children could be just as greedy as wealthy children. The upcoming Willy Wonka prequel film starring Timothée Chalamet has the potential to expand on the Wonka as serial killer theory. Even though it seemed unlikely that Wonka would want to give such a dark twist to a nearly universal childhood favorite, Chalamet could handle such a story. But the new Wonka movie already has several musical numbers planned that are similar to the first one, which would result in a more humorous tone about how he becomes wealthy, encounters the Oompa Loompas, and develops sweets and inventions obsession. Just because someone isn't normal or has an odd obsession or demeanor doesn't mean that they come from a rough background or were rejected by society. Instead, he might have gone through experiences that made him into a brilliant man who appreciates the sweetness of life and prefers a solitary existence. As a result, you need to smash that subscribe button and notification bell so you'll never miss any of our videos in the future. The movie could also be a new direction for Chalamet, who has typically played brooding, dramatic roles if Wonka follows the more upbeat, inspirational path reminiscent of the 1971 version. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.